Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome. The weather and unexpected official meetings on a Saturday in Islamabad have posed some challenges to our program, but we will be flexible in organizing some of the speakers. We are used to market turbulence and we will handle it efficiently, inshallah. Respected Finance Minister, Dr. Shamshad Akhtar, she is actually on Zoom with us right now, and she will be speaking later on. Also, Mr. Akif Saeed, he is also on Zoom with us from Islamabad, as I mentioned. Distinguished guests, past presidents of PSX, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and welcome. I would like to welcome you all to our flagship event of the year, the IPO Summit 2024. Empowering the future of capital markets. In particular, I would like to welcome the many companies present here that are considering IPOs, their advisors and investors that make IPOs successful. This is all about you and for you. I would also especially like to welcome the respected Finance Minister, Dr. Shamshad Akhtar, who kindly consented to be the chief guest at this event. She messaged me this morning, called me late at night, and she was really trying to see how she could get here even for a few hours. But unfortunately, some of the meetings that got called, she could not make it, but she is with us here. We have an outstanding program that has been curated for you. In addition to technical sessions, you will also hear from some of the leading and inspiring entrepreneurs of Pakistan who have successfully leveraged the capital markets to generate exponential growth, diversification, create sustainable businesses, and capital structures that transcend generations. I meet so many great companies in Pakistan from different sectors, and I've always been perplexed that why don't we have more regional and global scale companies coming out of Pakistan, whose market cap should be running into billions of dollars. By PSX is one of the oldest markets in Asia, but for different reasons, we have not been able to keep up, and that's also driven, as I said, by our entrepreneurs and by our corporate sector. Based on my almost 3 decades of working in the capital markets, and with many of the leading companies in Pakistan over these years, I believe that a key reason is that our entrepreneurs don't leverage the capital markets for growth capital efficiently and effectively. We are fortunate that we will hear from some of the leading business groups in Pakistan about how they have leveraged the capital markets to grow exponentially. If we look across the border, Reliance, for example, would never have become the largest group in Asia in one generation if they did not skillfully leverage the capital markets. Let alone other examples, whether it's Tesla, Alibaba, Amazon, Samsung, and so many others. They would not have been able to achieve such success, scale, and dominance without the support of capital markets. Listing your company is a key step in wealth creation for the entrepreneur. The advantages are many and more than just raising capital, and these includes enhancing your company's brand and public profile. You can professionalize, attract, and retain high-quality HR. In the knowledge economy of today, HR is perhaps even more of a competitive advantage than capital. Listing makes intergenerational wealth transfers significantly easier, enabling businesses to thrive and grow across generations, significantly reducing the risk of family disputes impacting the business. And we've seen this particularly, if you look in Europe, for example, particularly even in the US, how intergenerational businesses have thrived over the generations. Listed companies have more flexibility in their capital structures and have greater financing options. And it also allows entrepreneurs who successfully build up companies to be able to share the risk and, of course, the rewards with other investors. And despite criticism and apprehension that some may feel, good corporate governance actually protects the majority shareholder the most by helping to develop a large-scale and sustainable business. So to all the entrepreneurs here, I say that please come forward, raise capital for your great businesses, and grow your companies to a global scale. There is enough liquidity and investors to back you. And this is a particularly opportune time. We've had a really great run-up in the market, and the high interest rate environment makes bank borrowing prohibitive. Historically, the capital markets in Pakistan have remained small and underutilized by both the private and public sectors. This has led to heavy over-reliance on the banking sector. Our economy is in fact running on one wheel, and this is not sustainable for either the economy or indeed for the banks. No modern economy can function effectively and efficiently without large and liquid capital markets. With the significant government borrowing requirements, this has resulted in crowding out of the private sector as well as very high interest rates. In response, SECP and PSX have taken a number of steps to ease capital raising from the markets. And some of these include, we have significantly streamlined the IPO process and timelines so that from the time when we receive the completed application, the company will be listed within 29 working days. To help small investors to participate in IPOs, we have introduced the e-IPO facility, and with CDC, now investors who don't have brokerage accounts are still able to participate in IPOs. To facilitate issuers, we have completely digitized the listing application process, and when completed, the investors also have access to the portal for learning about upcoming IPOs. As we know, a large number of issuers and investors want to adhere to Sharia principles. I'm happy to share that Sharia options are fully available at PSX for both issuers and investors and for debt and equity capital raisings. In fact, mashallah, PSX has been awarded the Best Islamic Stock Exchange Award for 3 years running by Global Islamic Finance Awards, or GIFA. Similarly, for smaller companies, we have introduced the GEM board, or the Growth Enterprise Market. And there are two other strategic areas that we are focusing for growth. One is debt capital markets, and the other is REITs. And you will hear and learn about all these areas in more detail throughout the day today in different sessions. It is imperative for the growth of Pakistan's economy to create a conducive environment that will help attract more companies and investors to the capital markets. Despite the challenging operating environment, I would like to share that PSX and all our stakeholders have worked very hard to modernize and make the capital markets accessible to all issuers and investors. I would like to acknowledge and thank the SECP and the PSX board for their support and guidance, as well as all our track holders. It is work in progress, certainly, but we have made significant progress in the last 2-3 years. And some of the achievements include, we have introduced a completely online account opening process and greatly simplified the account opening process for investors. For the first time in the last 75 years, banks and capital markets are now sharing KYC information. This enabled the development of the RDA equity accounts, and a similar process has now also been implemented for domestic investors in terms of local KYC sharing with banks. We have introduced new products like simplified Sahulat account, to encourage smaller investors to come into the market. I've already mentioned the GEM board. A state-of-the-art trading and surveillance system has been implemented. And most recent and exciting development is the issuance of GOP Sakuks on PSX. This is a great example of the Ministry of Finance, SECP, PSX, and all other stakeholders working together to grow the capital markets. This will benefit public finances and provide new investment opportunities for investors. And PSX, mashallah, is now one of the few exchanges globally where government paper is auctioned directly in the capital markets rather than in other ways. These initiatives, I'm confident, will be transformative in the coming 2-3 years to grow the capital markets and the investor base. And we remain committed to building the capacity and trust required for capital formation and financial inclusion at PSX. To conclude, I would like to thank all the speakers, especially those who have traveled from different parts of the country to be with us today and share their perspectives. I would also like to thank CDC, NCCPL, SECP, and all our sponsors, and of course the great team at PSX. I hope you will find this event useful in helping you make informed decisions about raising debt and equity from capital markets. There is an immense amount of knowledge and experience in this hall here. Please make use of it. We are all here to support you in growing your businesses. We plan to follow up and have such IPO summits in all the major cities of Pakistan. I'm confident that the discussions today will go a long way in helping us increase the number of IPOs, help you grow your businesses, and benefit investors throughout Pakistan. Thank you very much.